I definitely would prefer to see the England guys go full missionary than anything. If we do end up in that situation, one after the other, I want to see them step up. I don't want it to last more than a few seconds. And I just want it exact bang, 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 bang. Semi-finals, here we come.
They've got a guy called Kylian Mbappe that's Liga top scorer, Champions League top scorer, and World Cup top scorer that we've got to kind of deal with as well.
Yeah, but we will, because it's not like he's a secret, is it? Like I do find some of the chat with him a bit odd because everyone is just focusing on him. Like I'm more scared of Giroud, personally.
Do you know Giroud like getting, was it 52 France goals? And you think of the players that France have had, and to be the record goal scorer of all time is quite a feat,
isn't it? But I don't feel people talk about him the same way, especially in the context of this game, as Mbappe.
But I think at the same time, he's kind of like, he's not that flashy. And I think that's why we kind of miss him in a sense. You know, the last World Cup, he was sensational at linking the play with Mbappe, but Mbappe got all the plaudits. And it kind of goes into that kind of thought. He's underrated, probably going into this tournament. But now, Crouchy, is he just rated?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like Chris says there. Like we're all focusing on Mbappe and how dangerous he is, myself included. You know, because he's such a talent. But Giroud is like, you know, if we worry about Mbappe too much, you know, Griezmann and Giroud, like they've still got other threats. You know, they're still a very, very good team. But having said that, I am getting carried away now. I've jumped firmly on the bandwagon. And I've started believing, and obviously I don't want to say those twatty words that get us in trouble every year, but something feels like it's brewing, and you know I know we do it every year, and we always get carried away, and everyone laughs at us at the end. But it does feel like there's a special group of players this time, and it feels like there's a great group. I think there's a good manager in charge. We have the ability to beat any team, I think. And I look at that France team, and yeah, it's good, but there's been better France teams. Even Brazil, I look at their brilliant side, but there's been better, you know, but we've gone out to better Brazil sides, and I think we've got a better England side. So I have started to believe a little bit.
Yeah, and it feels that there's that progression as well. I know with the USA game, it kind of reset that, and everyone was after Southgate, and you know, tactics were questioned. I think you do have to, I mean, or maybe you don't, feel free to challenge, but the calls that Southgate made in this game were right in terms of the starting lineup by the looks of it, or at least seem to be vindicated. Or is that just a result thing? But I do find it a tad odd. Like, what does that guy need to do to kind of, for everyone to be fully bought in? I still feel an element of kind of trepidation. I
agree. Yeah, there was so many people where I was. You know, I watched it, had a few beers again this time, and lots of people talking about Henderson shouldn't be starting. Lots of people said, "Where's Rashford?" You know, how can Saka? He rested Saka. Rashford came in and did fantastically well, but he made it quite obvious that he wanted to play Saka. Henderson, I thought, you know, gave, and obviously he was justified with the goal, but I just think he gives us just a little bit more in these knockout games. I think he bosses it, and people miss the fact that you know what he brings. And listen, you know, he may have given a few passes away or whatever, but I think he warrants his place.
I think as well with that, it allows Bellingham to play a little bit higher, especially in a defensive sense. And I thought that's something that, you know, we've not really spoke about with Jude. You know, we speak about the attacking side, his ability to carry, to dribble through. But I thought the most impressive thing was how he pressurised the Senegalese midfield and defence. He caused Koulibaly all types of problems with his pressure higher at the pitch. You look at the stats of the World Cup, Bellingham for England's won the most tackles. He's recovered the ball the most, completed the most dribbles, and he's made 3 tackles in the final third, which is only beaten by Julia Hoylett in the competition. Crouchy, talking about the kind of forward line, does Mbappe scare you as much as Haaland? Maybe let's say if Norway were playing us in the quarterfinals, who would scare you more?
Yeah, I mean it's a toss up, really. I mean, Mbappe scares me more because I worry about our potential centre halves against them. But Haaland would be the same. The thing is with Haaland is like, can you stop the supply line? The thing is with Mbappe, he can get the ball from deep and run at you and scare the life out of you, doing it with his quick feet and his pace and his finishing. But yeah, you'd be just as scared with either, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. We've got a message from Carl, actually, who asks, who would you play at right back against Kylian Mbappe?
Yeah. Kyle Walker, yeah, has to be, yeah. Just because he matches him with pace. I think it's been documented. Lots of people have come out and said it. I think Kyle Walker can deal with him. I think he is, he's the strongest, he's the quickest to be able to cope with that kind of pace. Without doubt, Kyle Walker.
I went back and had a quick look at the Champions League games between City and PSG, and Walker in the last 2 seasons won 10 out of his 11 tackles versus PSG. So, Chris, he could be the right one.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of battle that everyone seems to be focusing on at the moment. And I think he can handle it, right? Is this what we're saying? Are we feeling confident about how that happens? Crouchy, your feelings?
No, I'm as confident as you can be. I think that's the issue is, if Kyle Walker gets caught up the other end of the pitch at sometimes, and he's left versus John Stones or Harry Maguire, I think then they're in trouble. But I think as long as he is disciplined, I think he'll be able to handle him.
I think another good sign for England is Harry Kane getting a goal as well. And I think that's what excites me about how we progress through this tournament, is it feels like it's all building up. I think getting that goal out the way, I heard something about Harry Kane, which was like, he's achieved so much and he's got golden boots that he won't necessarily care about the quantity of goals the same way he might have done in previous tournaments. He's confident in his role. He's confident in what he does. Maybe he gets held to account in a slightly different way to perhaps how he has done in the past. But getting that goal must have felt good, Crouchy.
Yeah, I think that was important. Like, there would have been something. He would have been carrying something into these kind of games. And I don't think for 1 minute he would have been snatching at chances. He's not that type of player. But it's better that he gets a goal. Our front man getting a goal is obviously important, and it was a great goal as well, wasn't it? It was a great, fantastic move from Bellingham. Broke the midfield lines, and Foden, with the pass, and what a finish.
Crouchy, do you think there was any part of him that would be worried about that, considering that he has been creative? He's got 3 assists in a World Cup. It's the joint most of any player. Would you have been worried if you were coming into the quarterfinals and you hadn't scored, but you knew you'd been a key component in terms of linking the play?
Yeah, like without doubt, like the person that Harry Kane is, he's still in the back of his mind. Like he'd tell you otherwise, but he'd still be thinking about, I haven't scored yet. Definitely be wrangling with him. He expects to score in every game, so to not score in 3 he'd be angry. But yeah, like you say, I mean, some of his delivery, when he goes out wide and I think there's one cross on his left foot, it was like, whisker away. Just whipped it in. He's so creative, and he gives us the license, with the way he drops in for our forwards and wingers to get higher up the pitch and make those runs inside.
Do you know what we haven't had to experience too much of yet? We should talk about it. It could go that way. Penalties, how they will be different. And I mean, we've seen some unbelievably shit penalties this tournament. I find it humiliating. Lewandowski.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, like they spend the whole 90 minutes saying what an amazing player, and fair enough, right? But then it comes down to, he hasn't scored at a World Cup, gets his goal, has an opportunity from the spot. Wasn't that just one of the most fucking bad things you've ever seen? Like, and then, he was lucky he got that retaken.
Yeah. But then Japan as well. Japan's penalties were like they couldn't get it. It's like they couldn't get it off the ground.
It's the first time that a keeper's saved 3 out of 4 penalties at a shootout. With Livakovic from Croatia, and I think that like, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I absolutely hate their stopping the run up. That really triggers me.
Yeah,
it's the goalkeepers have a disadvantage here. And I feel like...
I think there needs to be speed guns. If we're going to have VAR and everything, we've got to do that. I think if you break a mile per hour, if you're less than that, you can't fucking take it. Do you know what I mean? It goes to a goal kick. I'm really, because I think especially in the game now where you're going to have cameras spotting encroachment, cameras not cameras spotting keepers going off the line. I think it's too much to ask everyone to hold in a position whilst a striker pisses around with a run. If you're going to have these rules around encroachment, keepers off the lines, and measure it to such a fine detail, I think strikers have got to have some accountability in the run up as well.
Yeah, I mean, like seriously, how long can you actually take to run up? Like, it's ridiculous, isn't it? And like when they miss, I even if I'm half cheering them on to score, I'm like, you're like, good, silly bastard, just do a normal run up.
I just found it with Lewandowski. I found it so because you think like what a player, right? What a standing in the game, and it was just a bit pitiful, really.
But similar with the Neymar penalty, I thought that Neymar penalty was rubbish. But the South Korean keeper can't do anything. He's already planted his back foot. He's gone to go one way, and Neymar's just waited. I just think.
But what is that? Is that just because if you're a big player and you know the world's watching, you're expected to do something a little bit out of the ordinary with it, rather than just go full missionary on it, just spank it?
I know what you mean. It's all reverse cowgirl now, isn't it? There's no missionary anymore.
It is. Just get it home.
Get it home.
It doesn't need to be pretty. I just like they're massive names, you know, and I just don't like to see it.
Well, maybe it is the foreplay, you know, the run up is the foreplay, you know what I mean? And the finish is the crescendo, maybe, I don't know.
That's where I think John Terry just always got it right, you know, there was never any mucking around.
Just feels at the moment like one party's just not getting off. Like somebody has the fun, and the other one just stood there. Oh, great.
I don't know. I think what we're trying to say here, there's a place for missionary.
I definitely would prefer to see the England guys go full missionary than anything. If we do end up in that situation, one after the other, I want to see them step up. I don't want it to last more than a few seconds. And I just want it bang, 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 bang. Semi-finals, here we come.
Okay.
So, Dave, can you...
Woo.
Hey, have you got any stats for us, mate?
Yeah, got a few. England top scorers of the World Cup with 12 goals so far, more than any other side. They've got the most clean sheets with 3 as well. If you look at the centre-back pairing between Harry Maguire and John Stones, they've just conceded 1 goal. That's a non-penalty goal so far in the tournament. So those statistics are very positive for England. Their expected goals are very good. Their expected goals against are very good. So generally, statistically, England are on the up.